Hey guys, it's Kaya TV, and today we'll be talking about one of my favorite franchises, the Arkham series. In this video, I'll be ranking all the mainline Arkham games from worst to best. Now when I say which one is worst, I don't think they're actually bad, because I enjoy all the Arkham games, even from the weakest ones. Now since this is a ranking, everything is subjective, so everyone's going to have a different opinion. So these are just my opinions. You might think some are different and some are better than others. So if that's the case, then fine. And if you want to rank your own, you can comment it and we can discuss which is your favorite Batman. So without further ado, I'm going to start the video, and yeah. Batman Arkham Origins is a VR exclusive game, so sadly I have to put this one on the weakest since not everyone can afford or handle a VR, since they can be expensive and motion sickness can also play a major issue for most. But that being said, this game is actually really good and I'd actually recommend it for most people. This game takes place between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum. The main villain in Arkham Shadows is Two-Face, which I was so happy to see get the spotlight this time around, as in most of the other games he's not really taken seriously and is just a side character for the side missions. The main place this game takes place in is in Blackgate Prison, so the game is an open world and is more linear with open level design, like Arkham Asylum, which I enjoyed a ton. Now the combat in this game feels incredible. Even for a VR game, it really feels like Arkham combat just in VR, perfectly made. It's really hard to complain about the combat, everything feels really good. The only problem I'd say is that you're going to need a lot of room to play this game, or just play it sitting down. Because I remember trying playing this in my room and almost breaking my hand, like punching random shit and just reaching out way too much. So just be careful playing it. But besides that, the combat is actually just incredible in this game. Now the level design and the puzzles are pretty decent and play mostly just like the other Arkham games, with most of the gadgets returning, including the shock gloves, which I was so happy to see return, because that was one of my favorite features and additions to Arkham Origins combat. Now Batman Arkham Origins is usually considered one of the weakest ones, and I can see why, but at the same time I love this game so much, even though there's a lot of weak points, but also a lot of strong points too. Arkham Origins has such a unique story as it shows the start of Batman as he faces against the assassins that are after him, being Copperhead, Firefly, Black Mask, Deathstroke, and Bane, and of course Joker later on. I think Origin's strongest points are these villains, but not just them as characters, but their boss fights as well. I truly believe that Batman Arkham Origins shines the brightest when it comes to the boss battles. Arkham Origins has the best boss battles in any of the Arkham games. Especially the boss battle against Deathstroke is just so good. And overall, the boss fights and gameplay are probably some of the best in the series, as the shock gloves bring a fun addition to the combat and the boss fights overall are just the best. Another thing I love about this game is that it takes place during Christmas, so everything is snowy and cold and decorated for the holidays. Now as much as I love this game, it lacks in a lot of areas, that being the weak side missions, small map, lack of playable characters, and overall short time in the game. Now I understand that another studio made this game, so it was a lot harder for them, but the side missions in this game are very forgettable and there's very few, especially compared to the older titles and future titles. Also, navigating this map could be a pain, especially when going across the big bridge in the middle. Thankfully there is a fast travel system, which is great, but it's still a pain when you don't have it unlocked yet. There's also no other playable characters besides Batman and Deathstroke, and Deathstroke overall just plays just like Batman, so there's not much of a difference, and Deathstroke can't be used in the open world and only could be used in certain activities. Now Batman Arkham Knight is sometimes considered the best overall Batman game due to his combat, stealth, graphics, and map being the best, but personally, I just like it. I feel very mixed on it for certain reasons that I'll get to later, but for now I'm going to go over what I like about it. Arkham Knight has probably the best gameplay of any of the Batman games. Its combat feels great and smooth, and you can even fight alongside different characters as well. The stealth is also, I feel like, a lot easier since there's so many other ways you can take down enemies, but it does become more complex later on in the game when they add newer enemy types to it. The overall graphics here look so good and it's probably one of the best looking games to ever come out, even after 10 years. There's also a huge variety of characters to play as, such as Catwoman, Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, and many others. Now the problems I have with the game is the overuse of the Batmobile, some of the boss battles, and somewhat predictable story. The Batmobile I feel like is way overused in many sections, whether that be in side missions, main missions, and a lot of the puzzles. The Batmobile can also feel out of place a lot of times. in many different sections, especially when a Batmobile turns into a tank and starts blowing shit up. Like, at the end of the day, this is a Batman game and not World of Tanks. I know this might be a hot take, but that's just how I feel about the Batmobile. Even though it could be fun at sometimes, I found myself being more annoyed about it. But there were some times where I did get a lot of enjoyment from it, especially during the early game when I first started using it. Especially for certain parts, like just driving around the city was really fun. I also enjoyed doing the time races for the Riddler missions. Now, some of the bosses in this game are actually pretty decent, but some of the other ones are pretty terrible. Like the Deathstroke boss. This Deathstroke boss was literally just a reuse of the Arkham Knight tank boss, and it was such a disappointment, especially coming off of Origins, where Deathstroke was literally like the best boss in that game, and then in Arkham Knight is just a reuse of another boss, and it just feels lazy and terrible. Now for the story, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's actually pretty decent, but I do feel like the story is predictable, especially a certain part of the game where it kind of just like hints at it very heavily on who the Arkham Knight is. I don't hate the story, I just wish it was better. Now the one that started it all, Arkham Asylum. Asylum is a cult classic and is a great start to the Arkham games. What I enjoy most about this game is the horror and comic book theme that they have going on in the game. It makes the world of Batman feel more classic in a way, and I enjoy that a lot. I also enjoyed the linear feel of this game, as it's not open world and it only takes place in Asylum and nowhere else in Gotham. So you really feel trapped on an island that is filled with Batman's most dangerous villains. You end up fighting villains like Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, Bane, Poison Ivy, the Joker, Scarecrow, and many others. There's so many cool and iconic sections in this game that I still remember to this day.
To this day! To this day!
Like Scarecrow, Nightmare section, Joker breaking the fourth wall and pretending to crash a game, and the scary boss battle with Killer Croc. This game is truly a classic and carries a different vibe to it that no other Arkham game was able to recapture. And I really hope that someday we get a remake of this game because it was truly peak. Now for my favorite one of all time is of course Batman Arkham City. Arkham City is my favorite Batman game of all time and introduced me into the Arkham franchise. This game took everything from Asylum and made it even better, like making the game a dark and gritty open world with even better stealth, combat, story, and graphics. Probably my favorite part of this game is the story. I believe this game has the best story, and I love the rivalry between Batman and Joker in this game. It feels so well written and fleshed out more than any of the other titles. And I believe it ends very strong as well and it hits you really hard. This game also has a unique cast of villains that we usually don't see in the other titles, like Hugh Strange, Ra's al Ghul, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, and even Hush. All these villains were fun to fight and they're really well written. The open world of Arkham City is also very well done. It is filled with many things to do and feels like a huge jump from the linear feel of Arkham Asylum. This is also the first game to introduce multiple playable characters like Robin, Nightwing, and Catwoman, completely changing up the playstyle. And Catwoman also has her own unique story that plays along with Batman, which I thought was really fun. Overall, this game holds a special place in my heart and is one of my favorite games in general, so it was a no-brainer to put this on my #1 spot. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is my first ranking video, so I hope you enjoyed it. And sometime in the future, I hope to make more of these. So I'll see you in the next one.